That double brow look was hanging there like an ominous black cloud over the boys, even as they continued to reach out for the prize now gone. Breakfast was over. The punishment was done. The boys had finished cleaning up the mess, all of it, before they realized the biggest punishment was still to come. However, self-inflicted, there would be no apple butter on the table for at least 2 weeks. With one biscuit in each hand, the boys went out to meet the day. Ordinarily, every sunrise at the pool house was punctuated with the sound of singing birds, barking dogs, clucking chickens, and the occasional pitiful meowing of a milk-starved cat. The pool boys paid little attention to any of that on this morning of mornings, nor did they notice the missing clucking component that was usually part of the morning serenade. Their goal for the day was to make sense out of the box now hidden in their structurally unsound chicken house. With characteristic leadership acquired or assumed due to the birth rank, Jay brought the group into a huddle and they stood outside the chicken house door. "Let's plan what to do next." The boys faced one another in a three-cornered circle. Suddenly there was a fourth corner, and his name was Leon. He had planted himself a respectable distance away from the chicken house as he waited for the boys to show up. Leon's fearful respect for the powers unknown likely caused him to put caution and a cushion between him and the haunted chicken house. No longer alone, he found the confidence to speak. "Well, we gonna go in there and get that box?" Leon asked, a little tentatively. "No, we are not," said Jay, a little more forcefully than he intended. "Wes and I'll go in first, and you and Wayne will stay outside the entrance here and be lookouts. Do you understand me, Leon?" "I understand," said Wayne. "I ain't no hurry to see that thing just yet." "Me neither," said Leon. With that, Jay and Wes approached the chicken house entrance. Without resistance and a lot of trepidation, Wayne and Leon took their assigned positions. Like Roman centurions, they stood guard at the gate of the chicken house. It was now the home of the mysterious box. Immediately, they began to scan the horizon, or at least the chicken yard and beyond as far as the road. Woe be it to any robbers, claim jumpers, or any other villainous feller who might dare to cause trouble on their watch. Jay led the way as he and Wes entered the chicken house. Once inside, Jay said, "Hey, Wes, you notice anything odd?" After a quick quizzical survey of the chicken house, Wes said, "No, what are you talking about?" "Chickens," said Jay. "Where are the chickens?" "I don't know. Now that I think about it, I ain't heard 'em all morning." Jay turned his gaze toward the box. A side panel opened, and a chicken came waddling out. Then came another, and another. They continued to come out one at a time until all 30 or so pool chickens were accounted for. The long list of oddities and questions raised by this box continued to grow. Case in point, how did all those chickens fit in that box? And how could they believe what they saw as each chicken exited the box? You see, it appeared that each chicken grew from tiny to normal size just as they passed through the open panel. The chickens, like a squad of well-trained soldiers, marched to their assigned roosting positions and remained there as if they were waiting for further orders from their leader. What seemed most unusual about this chicken maneuver was the direction that they were facing. Ordinarily, they perched on the roost facing toward the next rung below. This time, they were facing the rung above. The boys were only slightly surprised to see the chickens, all of them, with beaks pointed directly toward the box. Pondering this phenomenon, the usually passive Wes unintentionally out loud I wonder what'd happen if I stuck my hand in that hole. I don't know, Wes. Why don't you give it a try? Said Jay. Wes had startled himself with his own voice and looked at Jay as if he must have been some kind of mind reader. After the usual, I will if you will, banter had run its course, they mutually agreed to give it a try on some future date, or specifically, never. It didn't really matter because during their heated I dare you exchange, the panel or hold had closed up, leaving no evidence of ever having been there. Seeing this, the boys resumed suspended disbelief and returned their focus to the original task. Jay and Wes slowly eased back outside to rejoin Wayne and Leon to consider their next move. What's up, guys? What we doing now? Asked Wayne. In response, Jay and Wes looked at each other and gave a knowing nod and a simultaneous shrug of the shoulders. They were not eager to share whatever they saw or thought they saw, and with that, Jay changed the subject. Wes, do you remember how we got the box in here last night? Jay asked. Sure, said Wes. We didn't do nothing. It kind of went in there on its own. That's right. We need to figure out what we did to get that box to do that, said Jay. Jay used a phrase he had heard one of his teachers use as a teaching learning tool. He said to the others, let's review. If we talk through what all we did, maybe it'll come to us what happened to get that box a moving. Jay studied the faces of the other boys, looking for clues or suggestions as to how to proceed. Jay's gaze went from Wes to Wayne and then to Leon, who responded with the same blank stare and shoulder shrug as the other boys. They couldn't afford to make any mistakes that might draw attention to them or this project. Finally, it was Leon who spoke and said, Man, I just wish we could remember what we did. All three pool boys looked at Leon, and in unison they said, Leon, that's it! That's it! With obvious confusion, Leon said, What's it? Jay spoke for the others. Leon, don't you remember? You said, I wish this thing would go in the chicken house by itself, and it did. Leon smiled real big and said, Hey, that's right. I said that. I did that. What you said. So proud was he to have done something positive for this project that he became a little tongue-tied in his response. Jay spoke to the group. You all know what this means, don't you? It means Leon is our box talker. The box must have tuned itself into Leon's voice. If we need to have it to do something, Leon has to give the order. Now, Leon might not have been a great student in school, but maybe he was a little lacking in social skills. You might say his command of the King's English was limited mostly to single-syllable words, the bulk of which were not suitable for the family conversation. One thing you could not question was his strong sense of self-preservation. From Leon's point of view, the mantle of power had suddenly been put on his shoulders. Recognizing this situation, Leon was quick to test his new authority. He said, You mean to tell me I'm in charge of getting the box to do whatever it is that we want it to do? That's pretty much right, said Jay. You need to understand that it's kind of like this. You will be the gun, but it takes all of us to decide when to pull that trigger. At first, Leon got lost in that explanation. He finally decided correctly that it meant probably that the use of his new power was constrained by the decisions of the others as to the time and place. That seemed to satisfy Leon. It took away from some of the responsibility that comes with the power. On the upside, it confirmed him to be a bonafide member of this group.